Hello, and welcome to Fans Traumas, Robots with These Guys, the podcast that likes the way it looks in steel-belted radials. I'm your host, Wait, is this an audio format only? Ugh, what a waste of time. I'm out of here. See you on the flip side, meatbags. Okay, that was weird. Welcome to Fans Traumas. I'm your regularly traumatized host, Jay. With me, as ever, are Phil. Say hi, Phil.
Hey, Phil.
And Dan. Say hi, Dan.
I'm so tired, man.
You've had time to get over it. Come on, we've had 6 hours sleep. Okay, we can do this. Oh God, yeah. The exhaustion is real. So, Fans Traumas have literally just got back this week from TFNation 2026 in Birmingham. Spoiler alert, it was bloody brilliant. Think safe to say the best TFNation that I have been to so far.
Oh, bar none.
Having been to, and I'm going to say this wrong, Dan, is it my fourth or fifth?
I think it was our fourth.
Because you went to one before me, so it's been my fourth, your fifth?
Yeah, sorry, my fifth, but my first was like 2019, so that's the pre times that no one remembers.
The before times, when things were better somehow. But yeah, it has been absolutely awesome. Phil, you've joined us for now three? Four?
Yeah.
Three.
The badges in my cupboard will indicate that I have been here 3 times now.
Yeah. So let's talk about badges first of all, because we took a big gamble on this. We kind of approached it as Fans Traumas, and normally, see, the original intention of the badges was to reach people that we know in forums and on Discords and on the websites and things on the boards. Put your username on, and then we invented this cool thing, and Phil realized it, a text specs with a decoder that revealed the real name, or the name that you want to be known by. And the idea being that you would recognize somebody's username, you'd get their real name, and you'd put a face to it. And we did like a handful of these. We handed them out to people who wanted them for a couple of years, and they were brilliant. I mean, Phil's designs are excellent, and I've been saying that all weekend, and people are going, "Oh, he's amazing." I'm going, "That's the guy who did them," you know. So it's been absolutely brilliant. This year we took a gamble and we sold them as close to cost as we could get. And in the end, we printed 65 individual badges, and because we sold them, we could do a whole lot more freebies as well. So we were giving them out to like crew, we were giving them out to guests as well, and everybody that we handed them to was both surprised and thrilled at how good and how much fun they were. Gav wore his all weekend. David, I saw, had his on. And then people were coming up to us and asking about them afterwards. So, yes, definitely expect these for next year as well. So if you are interested in one of these, keep an eye out on our socials. I think we're feeling brave enough that we're going to put it out on our Insta and our Blue Sky and our Facebook and that as well. So, there'll be a limit to the orders. There'll be a limit to what we can do. But, we will see getting these badges out.
Would absolutely love to make it a thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And Phil, your design, what was the inspiration for that this year?
I mean, come on. You know, we're talking 40th anniversary. Had to be Transformers the movie. So, yeah, the whole thing kind of reflected that vibe. Which, you know, obviously, spoilers. What are we thinking about for next year? There's already ideas going through my head. You know, it's a anniversary, I believe, of the first Bayverse film. So who knows?
So something jagged and sharp.
you could do Sector 7 badges.
Ooh, now that's a better idea. We've got a year, well, probably a little bit less than a year to figure it out. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled, and we'll let you know how it's all going. Oh, one thing that was missing from this year, because we were all about the movie, we didn't get the choice of factions, which we had in previous years. So I suspect we'll see a return to that. But again, early days. Let's soak up, you know, the current TFN before we start worrying about next year.
In 10 years, it will be the anniversary of the movie again, and you can get a redo.
Yeah.
We're definitely all going to be here in 10 years.
the Blu-ray boxes that year, or whatever it is. So I mentioned that we might be going back to factions for next year and giving people choice, and it was Autobot and Decepticon based on the old G1 boxes. And some of the people were saying, "Oh, do you do Maximal and Predacon? And are you going to do the different faction symbols for all the different factions?" I was like, maybe.
These are great questions for which we have no answers right now.
Not now, but we will come up with an answer. So we're just going to race through what TFN was for us, what we did, where we went, what we saw. This is going to be a long old episode, guys. So strap in and brace for this one. But we're gonna get through it together. So we always go up on a Thursday.
Thursday crew.
Thursday crew for life, because it is nice to go without any pressure on your time.
Yeah.
Like the only pressure we had was a dinner reservation at Karage, which is excellent fried chicken. So you can go to the hotel before the convention starts. It's a space, anybody can go in there, and you can sit down with people who are already there and hang out. But the trip up on the Thursday was pretty cool. I thought it was a new experience for us.
Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly. It was an event in itself, you might say.
Yeah, because as it turns out, I'm an idiot. And I said to the guys, yeah, I know. I'm entrusted with sharp objects and things. Can you believe that? I said to the guys, I know a place to eat in Milton Keynes, which is about halfway. It's about lunchtime. We go past Milton Keynes on the motorway. So we normally come off and we find somewhere to eat. I tell the guys there's an amazing place in Milton Keynes, which is about halfway. We're going to hit that lunchtime. We should go there. So I put it into the sat nav, and we arrive, and it's completely the wrong restaurant. I don't know how I ended up there, but it's the wrong place. But we decide to eat there anyway. And we get seated at the table, and I can see out the window from my seat Red Bull polo shirts. And just as we're sitting down and thinking about drinks and ordering, I'm texting a family member, James. Hi, James, who works at Red Bull, and saying, "Hey, you don't happen to be at this restaurant right now, do you?" Turns out he was 10 minutes beforehand at the restaurant. So we said, "Oh, I'm so sorry to have missed you. This is just me texting in the background while the guys are chatting." And then he says, "Do you want to come see me at the office?" And I look at the guys and I say, do you want to eat and then visit Red Bull? And the guys were immediately like, yes.
Don't threaten us with a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. So we drove to the Red Bull Technology Campus, which is blooming impressive. They own an industrial estate now. And we parked next to some much nicer cars. I think I lowered the average price of the cars in the car park quite significantly by turning up there, because there were some nice vehicles just in the car park alone, and wandered into Red Bull. And guys, if you don't know this, the public can visit the Red Bull Technology Campus, and you can actually go and look at their trophy room, their display, and you can buy stuff in their store, which is around the corner. And then James came out to see us, and we did a bit of a tour. Phil, that trophy room. Tell me about that trophy room.
That trophy room, honestly, you step in, and it's there's a reception, there's a big old trophy cabinet on your right, and you're like, oh, that's really cool. And then you turn, and then it's this 360-degree experience. It goes up 3 floors. It's immense. Your eye just gets lost on this, ridiculous glass trophy wall, and each trophy has its own kind of unique design. It's incredible. Honestly, I was blown away.
Absolutely fantastic. It gave me lots of ideas about how to display our toys, honestly.
Yeah, I might need to do some remodeling on my house first.
Yeah, it was absolutely incredible. And then we went over to another sort of technology space, and there was a real Red Bull Formula One car in the lobby, and we got some photographs there. And James was going, through this door, there's about 100 Formula One cars. I'm like, woo, which you are not allowed to see because there's stuff going on in there. And through this door is our design and development, and you're not allowed to see that either, and that sort of thing. But that was a really cool little detour. I mean, it added like an hour to our journey, but I think it was worth it.
Absolutely worth it.
Yeah,
so cool.
We didn't buy anything in the shop because I think we were saving our pennies for Saturday.
Despite the fact we all really wanted a stylish Red Bull gilet.
Oh yeah, the gilets were fantastic, and the polyester sort of synthetic polo shirts. Yeah, we sort of really tempted by those.
We could have looked fantastic at TFNation.
I mean, look, guys, we've already sorted out our branding. You know, one logo is enough for us.
So we rocked up about. Well, it was coming on for tea time, wasn't it? It was sort of 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock-ish. I seem to remember when we actually got to Birmingham. And we always get an Airbnb, which Phil sorts out. Thank you, Phil. And I assume you do it on best value for money.
Yeah, proximity and best value for money. Yeah. Making sure that you look at the pictures, you think, okay, is there enough room? Yeah, we'll go for it. It seems fine on the surface.
Technically, it was adequate. Like
yes.
We had everything. No, I was going to say we had everything we needed. We didn't, but we had enough. Like we could eat and sleep in that space, relatively comfortable. Wasn't a patch on last year's, which was an amazing bit of accommodation.
No,
and it felt
last year's was more like luxury.
Yeah, it felt like partly lived in, partly abandoned. Like there was just odds and ends about the place. It had a kind of studenty digs vibe to it, I think.
Well, I think to me it felt like someone's nan used to own the house, and then they passed on, and they've inherited this place, and they've sort of just done the bare minimum just to sort of bring it up to date.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible, and we stayed. Like it would have cost us for the weekend. Would have covered like one night at the hotel. So I think it was worth it.
That's the core thing, isn't it? That's the core thing. If you're obviously there's a cost for either taxis or parking at the Hilton, but if you can offset that. And don't mind the kind of the short traveling distance. Obviously, you're not going to get like the free breakfast that you might if you were staying at the Hilton. But on weighing it up, the pros and the cons, it leaves you with so much more money for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah. So we sort of dumped our stuff. We ordered a taxi, and we went round to the Hilton on Thursday night, and it was already bustling, wasn't it? It was already busy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. We're not the only people to partake in the kind of Thursday crew ritual these days.
Well, I spoke to Chris McFeely later on in the weekend, and he said that just before COVID, Thursday had become the time when people gather before TFN. And then so many people got onto that Thursday crew thing that they shifted. There was a bunch of people started coming Wednesday, so that they could have that little bit of time to themselves before the pressures of like doing TFN. And that has happened. That started to sort of recur since coming back after COVID. That Thursday night is now so busy that they're now doing the Wednesday. And I said it's only a matter of time before it's like TFN week. Like we rock up on the Monday and we don't go home till Monday after or something like that, But it was fun, and it was so well. We had a great time chatting to people, seeing old faces, new ones as well.
Yeah. I mean, you already had demands for Jay. Where's my badge? I ordered the badge. Where's my badge? I'm going to be there on the Thursday.
Yeah. We were on the road, and we were getting texts and DMs and things like that, going, "Are you guys here yet? Where's my badge? I need my badge." So that was really cool. And then people started to come up to us and find us, and we started to meet people off the Discord and TFW boards.
Oh yeah, really had cool. They had a very large selection of kind of metal card bots, didn't they?
Yes, metal card bots was the thing. Dan, did you bring any of yours this year?
Yeah, I brought Taki, the tutor girl one, with me, and I brought her to the bar on Thursday. And then I walked in, looked around, and from where I was standing in the bar, I could already see 4 other people already had brought one.
Yeah.
So I kind of just quietly slipped her back into my pocket, and it didn't bother.
No, well, yeah, I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Because like last year, it was the new thing, and I remember so many people coming to you up with that. You had that pirate ship one, and people were really interested in that, and then it's really taken off this year, so it's really cool. We had quite a bit to drink. We chatted to some people. I think for me, the highlight was the inaugural all-comers international fans traumas a tactics tournament, which is what I'm calling it. It was
our first and our last.
Yeah, I don't see that becoming a fixture, but I brought a box of secondhand tactics toys, which if you don't know, they're like miniatures that don't transform, but they articulate, and you can push them around a table and shoot other miniatures, and if the miniature falls over, they're dead. And it was tense. I mean, Dan, you were rocking Omega Sentinel for a good while out there on the table.
Yeah. Most of the tension, though, did come from the fact that we kept thinking we were going to lose the missiles.
Yes, yeah.
You do need like foot-high walls around the table when you're playing.
Yeah,
Maybe
I think
safety goggles too.
Bonus points should be awarded for catching missiles as they ping across the bar. It's a fantastic little game. It's so simple and it's really fun to play. And we chat to people. They
really drew the attention, didn't they?
Yes.
Like you had a few people kind of rock up and like, oh, I remember those. I had those back in the day.
Yeah. It was so cool just to get that. Everyone was fizzing, and there's a lot of hugging goes on, isn't there? There's a lot of hellos and lots of people reconnecting. It was really cool. And I saw Spider Father, and in front of me he gave a Q Transformer lockdown to somebody else. And then I passively aggressively commented and went, "He's only giving you that in front of me to rub it in. They didn't give me one last year." And it was completely out of the blue. Spider was like, "What? Oh well, here's yours then." Handed one over as well. And that is the other thing about TFN that I think needs to be talked about a lot. It's the most generous convention. Like how much
Very
free
true,
stuff did we get?
Oh, that's a great point. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not just Lee, who was very kind and actually also sorted me out with one of those little chibi little fellas as well. But at one point, I believe it was, Sam's Formers pretty much just had a large plastic container full of blockies of all kind of descriptions. You had the wheels in there, you had the smaller, and it was literally just like, help yourselves.
Yeah.
And there was, a very polite scramble, but it was incredible.
And of course, Phil, some lovely chap gave both of us a coffee robot.
Indeed, who could that be? Yes, absolutely. That was literally my first pickup of TFN. Jay, absolute legend. It's just I don't know. It's just a great way to set the vibe. You literally got like a fiddle toy for the journey. It's amazing.
Well, I didn't want you guys causing ruckus. I wanted you to have something to take your attention on the drive.
It was like giving children something to keep them quiet in the car, and it worked. It's the same thing.
And they were just cheap things off AliExpress, but they're really cool. And I gave away my last one, and I kind of want one now. That was awesome. So Thursday, that was basically Thursday, wasn't it? Was meeting people, hanging out,
pretty
drinking,
much, yeah.
And it's a great chill way to kind of ease into the whole thing. Don't need to worry about panels. It's just all about the socials.
So we got back home. The taxi let us down, and then we had to get an Uber. So we got home about an hour later than we originally planned. And I don't know about you guys, but according to my app, I got 5.5 hours sleep that night.
At best, I would say.
Yeah. And then kind of got up, and it's like that Christmas morning thing, isn't it? You're like, oh, TFN. You sort of leap out of bed no matter how tired you are and sort of get ready for the day and grab a small breakfast. And then we headed in the morning. And it was fantastic, wasn't it? It was so good.
Yeah.
So did we went straight to the bar, or did we go to a panel? I forget.
Yeah, we spent quite a lot of time at the bar on Friday. I think our first panel was quite late, wasn't it?
Yeah, Friday was very light on the panels.
Yeah. But what's nice is when you go in, your phone is pinging and it's saying we're on our way, we're at the station, we're doing this, we're doing that. The flight's coming in, that sort of thing. So you've got the anticipation that friends of yours are coming in, and I would say to anybody who's planning to go to TFNation, get onto the Discords. And then get yourselves onto a group chat, because there's nothing quite like having a group waiting for you to go. We were handing out more name cards and things like that. And then we got a preview of this.
Oh, yes.
Hyperdrive.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah.
Absolute masterpiece.
Dan, how would you describe it, seeing that thing coming out of the box?
I think I said that the blue on it just instantly soothed my eyes. It's just this beautiful shade of turquoise. I mean, the paint on it was so smooth that you'd be hard pressed to tell it was a custom. It just looked like, oh, this is how the toy's always been. It was
beautifully painted, wasn't it? I think it's
so crisp.
So Rotorstorm is the guy behind this, and he bought, dismantled, dyed, painted, varnished and customized 3D printed parts as well, and turned a vintage Star Convoy from Japan into hyperdrive, and then put it up for silent auction for Toy Fu, which I think is absolutely incredible. But we got to see it and we got to handle it first. And honestly, I was afraid to touch it. I was like, I'm gonna drop this, and then,
This is the thing. Like he was transforming it back and forth, and we're just like, all I could think about was just like, don't catch the paint, don't catch that. But it just shows you the confidence in the product and in the custom that he's done. That he's just like, it's fine.
Well, Rotor Storm and Nemesis Springer have both been doing customizing for years, and they've got it down to
I believe 20 years now.
20? God.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Yeah. They really know their thing.
They're collectively known as Shins of the Wreckers, guys. Check them out, honestly.
Yeah,
Some
absolutely.
of the customs are just absolutely incredible.
Well, the other half of Shins of the Wreckers, Nemesis Springer, turned up with ears and guns for my Armada Optimus Prime, and accessories and a front chest for my G1 broadside. And they look incredible. Like you can barely see any grain of 3D printing or anything like that. They are solid. They are crisp, absolutely beautiful, and well painted as well. Absolutely fantastic. Phil, one of them brought something else for you as well, I believe.
Yes. So in the run up, obviously, like you say, get on the Discords, be part of the conversation, and as part of that, you have people saying, well, I'm bringing a bunch of stuff to TFN. If anyone's interested, do you want to, anything interested on the list, please, make me an offer. And one of the guys, Matt, he was offering up the Takara big powered set. I was just like, oh wow, I'd kind of put that out. It's not even on my list. I'd put it out of my head. It's like, I'm never going to get that for a good price, and he was offering it for a very good price. So I almost bit his arm off about it. But first, I kind of wanted to sort of sense check that I wasn't completely mad with everyone else. By the time I'd done that, obviously, it had gone. At which point, Roadster kindly piped up and said, well, actually, I've got one. And it's got the upgrade kit for the legs, it's got the extra parts. And it wasn't much more at all. So he was kind of like, look, I'll bring it along. So you can just get it in hand, have a look, check out the cool little head sculpts, and and you can make your mind up at the time. Now, I didn't say this to him at the time, but in my head, I'm just like, look, I'm gonna buy this off for you anyway. Doesn't matter. the whole kind of song and dance about actually kind of seeing whether I wanted to buy this thing, it was never in question. This thing was coming home with me. It's such a great price. And when he rocked up and it's it's still in the original, he had it not just in the original box, but the actual the external box that it came in was there. It was just it was like new. Honestly, could not have got him in a better condition than if he was completely brand new.
Yeah, I remember when you took that out, and it was so pristine and so beautiful, and all the colours so vibrant on that thing in a way that you don't really get with Hasbro stuff. Like, it was just amazing.
It really pops. Pops.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that was my first purchase of TFN.
Yeah.
And honestly, I could say I almost peaked too soon.
Oh wow. Well, I hope it wasn't a letdown for the rest of the weekend.
Not at all.
That is the other cool
just
thing
set
about
a standard.
Yeah. That is the other cool thing about TFN, is that you can pre-order stuff with other TFN attendees, because people put stuff on Discord and on Facebook and all the other sort of various avenues, and so there was a bunch of stuff. Like, I think Thursday I picked up movie Blackout from somebody for a really good price. Shout out to Sky for that. Thank you very much. And yeah, it's just a really good thing to like. Dan, you walked in on Thursday with a bag that you didn't walk out with?
Yeah. I had a big box of Cybertron box that someone had bought off of me. So that went across to them, and meant I had money to afford the trader hall on the Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah.
which always good.
Yeah, it goes around, doesn't it? It's
Yeah.
almost circular, the stuff that's going backwards and forwards. So we had Friday time in the bar. We saw Hyperdrive. I will say this: TFN is the place where I laugh the loudest and the longest, and there is always something that makes me smile and makes me just really enjoy the time. We met a few people. We saw some cosplayers, some early cosplayers were already out, and there were some photos on our Instagram and things like that of the various cosplayers that we met, and then we went to our first panel. Which was the Forge. Is that right?
Yes, I think we were a little bit late. I think we misread the times, so it started by the time we got in. But it was 4 of the Forge artists, whose names I did not note down and should have.
Okay, so I know Dave Cousins was there, the very lovely Dave Cousins, who is an excellent comic book artist. Yep. There was Captain Olgivy, or Chess, and she does really cool badges and pins and stickers and things, which have this kind of cute... She tends to draw things like the Transformers as stuffed toys. Yes. So they look like kind of plushies or teddy bears and things like that.
She's the one I brought the Pride badges off, isn't she? The little slug ones.
Yeah. Yeah, Abby Bulmer was there. She's a fantastic artist and colorist as well, and she was selling off some brilliant prints. And there was a 4th person who I apologize now, I didn't catch the name because, as Dan has revealed to the world, we were late getting in, and their thing was crochet, which absolutely blew me away. Like I had no idea that crochet was a thing that you could make Transformers out of. But Spiderfather was showing off his tarantulas, pair of tarantulas,
which was adorable.
So cute with the button eyes and everything else like that. I think that was the same artist. I'd like to say it was the same artist. I'm happy to be corrected by email or by socials. But yeah, that was really interesting. I thought hearing those artists talk about the work they put into it.
Yeah, and then I think we went straight into the next panel, didn't we? Which was a history of animation.
Oh yeah, This was good. This was really good.
Yeah, I joined you guys for that.
I found that incredibly interesting.
I
think the sheer amount of work and time that went into kind of old style hand animation, and kind of like the amount that you need to keep track of and remember, like every frame isn't just like one picture, it's multiple hand drawn layers.
Yeah.
And it kind of again puts things into perspective, like Optimus Prime's mouth plate vanishing and things like that. It's because literally they were on a rush and they literally had a layer with a mouth plate on and left it out. But yeah, that was really interesting. The fact that you kind of work backwards, painting the cells as well.
Yeah. So the ink's on the top, isn't it? And then you flip it over, and then you paint the dark bits, and then you can sort of very quickly paint the light bits on top of that. And then when you flick it back over, you've got this sort of perfect coloured cell frame, but you have to do that like 12 times a second for the whole 25 minutes of the show. Absolutely incredible. It made me realise why in the episode Heavy Metal War there were 2 star screams, because I could see somebody taking a line drawing of 2 Seekers that look identical, flipping it over to colour it, looking at a guide that says the playing is red, and then just painting the playing Transformer red, and doing that 50 or 60 times, and then flicking it back over. And it's not until you've done it, somebody goes, no, there's only one red one, and there's the other one's purple, and you go, oh, it's done now, we haven't got time, so just photograph, just get it in there, and get it done. I can understand why those mistakes creep in, because the work is so fast and so difficult. But Chris Carter made it really interesting, I thought. Yeah. I thought he really kind of drew us along through like really detailed stuff.
Yeah, and obviously they were also going into the kind of CGI era and kind of going into Beast Wars and things like that. And how Beast Wars, you could literally only have so many characters on screen, which is why they only had 5 characters per side, I think, at any given time. Even if they had the models, they didn't have the processing power back then to have more than a certain amount of characters on screen at a time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
things like
that's
Earthspark,
a great
obviously you
point.
get the big fights at the end of each season where everyone's there. Beast Wars, they physically couldn't do that.
I thought it was interesting they didn't storyboard Beast Wars as well. They just
Yes.
used the 3D models to kind of mock up, this is what the scene's going to look like, and then they went from there. Which I thought
I'll
was
tell you
really
what
cool.
I found fascinating, actually, was the transformations in Beast Wars, where
Yes,
they had...
that's funny.
You know, they had a beast mode, they had a robot mode, and they had an in-between frame that does all the flippy bits.
Yeah.
And they kind of showed a video of Rhinox's beast mode rears up, and then it kind of... The beast mode model shrinks while the flippy bit model grows, and then that does some flippy bits, and then again shrinks and grows into the robot mode.
Yeah. Because when you watch it, particularly when they were slowing it down, you can see there's no way that mouth becomes that chest panel or whatever else it was. It was really interesting to see.
I think like anything in animation, it's all about giving that illusion, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. You know, you've got a robot mode, and it's all dedicated to articulation and kind of emoting the face. You've got the alt mode, which is with this animalistic thing. You've got to work that for animation. So you can't then also build in like all the tiny little joints and the flaps that have kind of got open. So it makes sense to have like a dedicated animation model for that kind of in between state. It's brilliant, but it makes total sense.
So yeah, that was really cool. That was really interesting, and we sat through that. And then for me, the highlight of that day was a certain movie being shown for us. I'm not sure we can even say what it was now. They were very cagey about its title, weren't they? But it was so good.
That was amazing. So I think first off the bat, it wasn't just a showing of the movie. They'd tried to go for the authentic experience. So they'd edited in all the 1986 blockbuster movie trailers.
Yeah, really captured that feel.
Filmed.
That was hilarious.
So you put in all the daft like test screens and studio splash screens and everything.
The advert for the Odeon, the 86 advert.
Selling popcorn in the lobby.
Yeah. And Vince DiCola introduced it. He stepped up there to rapturous applause. And the guy's a legend. I mean, he was absolutely amazing. He talked a little bit about it, didn't he? And then sort of went off. Now, I didn't realize this. He stayed for the beginning of the movie. So he heard several hundred fans applaud his name when it came up on the credits, which was absolutely incredible. And people said he was like nodding along as the theme tune starts, as the music started. Yeah. He was sort of reliving that moment. How incredible would it be to have something you did 40 years ago and to still feel really fond and really proud of that? I mean, and to watch its effect on people.
I definitely feel that he got that effect from the weekend.
Definitely.
Absolutely, he would have walked away just kind of really just elevated by that, because people were just absolutely enamored with the whole thing.
And I'll say this for movie night, they could have turned the volume down completely to 0 and we could have carried on the whole movie. Like everyone could have done every single line, sung every song, hummed every theme tune and everything else in between.
The whole time it was like there was an echo in the room. Just they were spot on, didn't miss a beat. Everyone knew it by heart.
Yeah. All the key lines were just really punched up by everyone in the room. It was just everyone laughed at the right bits, applauded the right bits, and possibly shed a tear at the right bits.
Everyone gave Starscream shit at the right bits. It's great.
Yeah. It was incredible. Like, we've seen that movie so many times, but when you're in a group of people, it feels different. You feel like you're watching it for the first time again, and like everyone's like cheering and, like I said, cheering and booing and getting emotional about things, and
like that when it's like that, when cinema's at its best and you're with a crowd that really gets the feel of the movie, then it's just magical, honestly. Like for me, the cinema experience is forever tarnished because you have people on their phones, you've got people having conversations or eating loudly or whatever. They're not here for it, they're not enjoying it, whereas everyone in that room was 100% invested.
I mean,
You really
obviously, I'm not an '80s kid, so I didn't watch the movie growing up. I came and watched it a bit later in life, so it never had quite the same effect on me. But in that room, I think for the first time, I nearly teared up watching Optimus Prime die.
Wow.
Wow. We'll get you when we watch the version when it comes out in September. We'll get you then.
Yeah.
Keep box tissues on standby.
It was such an interesting take on it because they had like the intro speed narration at the beginning to sort of bring you up to speed, which I don't think the American version got, and we had the end bit as well. I saw things that I hadn't seen before. Like, I hadn't realised how much shrapnel was made to eat shit. Like, that Insecticon gets killed, I think, maybe 4 or 5 times in that one movie. He's run over, he's booted out of a spaceship, he's eaten by Unicron. Shrapnel just gets it, you know? But that was fantastic. And then we took that buzz back into the bar and, drank and chatted and played games, played Cards Against Humanity, just hung out and had a really, really good time. Saturday. Oh my God, Saturday. So I had this great plan because last year we ended up carrying bags and stuff with us for the whole time after we'd been in the Trader Hall, which just got really awkward because we couldn't just sit down. We had to, or we couldn't just move anywhere. We had to collect everything we had with us and go as well. And I had flipping Omega Supreme and all sorts of stuff in my bag. So it was really awkward. So I had this cool idea. I won't drink on Saturday. I will drive and I will take the car to the hotel, which is the same price as getting an Uber. And anytime we've got bags, we'll just chuck them in the back of the car and we will be free to enjoy the rest of the time. That was a great idea in principle. We got up early and discovered that how little there was in the house to make breakfast with. That was a fun
challenging
thing. Yeah. We were saying it was like FX's The Bear. We were just, chef, hands, plate up, yelling at each other in this tiny kitchen, trying to find something to cook on or with, and the hob that only had two rings working, and oh my God. But we got there. We got breakfast sorted, and then we went out to the Saturday, and of course we queued up, and oh my God, the queue. We were in the queue for the queue, weren't we?
Yeah. I think we did better than last year.
Been in the queue for the queue.
Yeah. I think each year we do it, we get slightly further towards the front of the queue for the queue.
Yeah. I mean, there were people there at 6 a.m. for that.
That was never going to be us.
First queue.
Yeah.
And again, they come back to the story a lot. At Nemesis Prime and Rotor Storm were at the front of the general access queue. So they'd got there nice and early. But they had to watch people go in an hour before. You pay a premium on your ticket. You get to go in an hour before, and you get to pick through all the amazing stuff that's out there in the Trader Hall, which was very cool. Yeah. And then we got allowed in, and guys, it was the busiest I've ever seen it.
It was heaving.
It was
absolutely heaving.
I feel it was busier, but it wasn't as stressful as last year.
I liked the changes to the layout.
Yeah, they shifted the layout. I think Toy Fu weren't right in the middle, so people kind of spread out a bit before getting to them.
That helped out a lot, I feel.
It was, the layout was good, and the queue management was better.
Yeah.
Although there was an insane moment when the queue for Alex Milne blended with the queue for In Demand to Pay on Saturday morning. Because people had grabbed handfuls of all that stuff. They had imports of Onslaught and Skywarp, and I think they had some Starscreams as well. So people had this stuff stacked high, and then they were queuing up at the till, and that queue went all the way through the middle of the Trader Hall and backed into the Alex Milne queue. So that was nice and difficult to sort of navigate. But that didn't last forever, luckily. Did you find things that you were looking for on Saturday morning?
Yeah, I think, you immediately found Energy Optimus Prime in a great condition for a good price at Toy Fu, so snap that right up.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the bigger purchases I made, I think.
You guys, and to me a lesser extent, went in without so much of a shopping list.
Yeah. I had a minimal shopping list, but to be, like I said, I feel like I almost peaked with big power. So actually, I felt like the pressure was off for me. I was quite happy to just bowl out. And it was because there were because it was so heaving, there were so many people there. I felt like my usual kind of ritual of kind of really getting in and dumpster diving and having a rake around, that could actually wait until things quieten down. So I was really just trying to set my own pace, go around, have a bit of a sort of a casual glance and do a couple of laps that way. And if something caught my eye, but I wasn't going to sort of put too much pressure on myself.
We met two people in the queue, Inconsiderate Prime on Instagram.
Oh yeah, lovely bloke.
Really fun to chat to. So he promised to listen to the podcast. So hello, Inconsiderate Prime. And he was looking for G1 Countdown. And we met Jerry. He was studying in UK, but he's originally from China. And he was showing us his customs as we were waiting in the queue. Those amazingly painted like star screams and things like that. And he brought in that barricade repaint of Prime Smokescreen, which is absolutely beautiful. Again, that's on the socials as well.
Great.
But I mentioned them because I found Countdown for Inconsiderate Prime, and then Jerry came and just found me as I was randomly wandering with my mouth open through the dealer room trying to figure out what I was doing. Just came and found me and said, "That Cybertron Optimus you're looking for, second stall on the left over that way." And I was like, "Oh my God, thank you." So ran around there and got the thing that I was looking for as well. And that's the cool thing about the trade hall is like people look out for you.
That's such a core part of TFN. Just people kind of just consistently just paying it forward. And then people will do that for you. And I think that's absolutely wonderful.
Now, guys, I might be sounding like an absolute misery here. And I want to ask if you agree with me. I would like to impose a rule on the Trader Hall. In the first hour of normal, like non-priority shopping, cosplayers should remove wings and fins and anything else like that, or stay out of the Trader Hall for the first hour. Because I got hit.
Pointy things at eye level.
Yes. Indeed. Yeah, I got struck by so many seekers.
I think that just separates the strong from the weak, Jay, to be honest.
Well,
I think if you can't hack it being battered by Starscream's wings in the Trader Hall, you don't deserve to be in there.
Fair enough. Survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
On the flip side, I did see that wonderful Sentinel Prime cosplay going around with the kind of the ball gown, and it was, her dress was sort of draped on the floor, and I was just like, you are so brave. Like, ClubCon hasn't even been yet, and you're risking damaging this fine outfit that you made because someone's going to step on this. And I almost felt like she needed like security guards around her, or maybe just small children, like at a wedding, just holding the train up just to make sure that it doesn't get damaged. Because she was very brave.
I think I said as much to her. The absolutely beautiful outfit that she had handmade. So we were back on Saturday. Trader Hall was super busy. And we got a few bits and pieces.
Oh, yeah.
Like you said, Phil, I really felt like I was going to come back later. I was looking for some bits and I wanted to ask some specific questions. And the traders themselves went, "Can you pop back later? We're just really busy right now." And it was like, okay, fair enough, we ducked out of that and went into some of the panels that were available. We saw on the Saturday, Nick Roche give his talk.
Oh, yeah. That was brilliant. Yeah. I love that.
What a lad.
That guy. Importantly,
yep.
More importantly, we saw Nick Roche's edgy teenage art.
Yes.
Crucifying Hot Rod.
Tell me you were raised a Catholic without telling me you were raised a Catholic. I mean, it wasn't just Hot Rod. It was like there was Springer. There was a whole bunch of Autobots just crucified and dying a slow death. But he wrote that before he was 14.
I know, it's wild.
Yeah, the art was amazing.
Well, this is the thing. Like the first screen that he pops up was, I don't know, it's like, this is by Nick, age 6, whatever. And it's like Ultra Magnus and a few other. And it was so heartening to kind of see. It's like, this incredible artist that, I love his stuff. And it's kind of like, oh, look, he comes from simple backgrounds as well. Like, that's how most of us started. Just badly scrawling Transformers.
Phil, so some of us, that's better than what we can draw as adults.
You're breaking my flow here, Dan. You're breaking my flow. Because literally, I got hit with that, and it's like, I felt like I felt kind of like, like there's a chance for everyone here. And then literally the next slide, just this incredible art, just kind of like it just jumps up a notch, and I'm just like, you know what? There are some people out there with such an innate skill that it's just undeniable, and I was blown away even by the stuff that he'd done, like you say, when he's like 14. Absolutely incredible, and you would have seen that straight away, and it's hard not to have recognized that talent.
Well, when he was 14, he was being courted by a publisher for his Captain Ireland character, which frankly was just genius. Like we could stereotype ourselves. You can't stereotype us, but we could have a guy called Aidan who's from the. It was so
with the shamrock.
Yeah, the shamrock logo. Oh my god, yeah, and he had an ear. An enhanced audio receptacle for hearing like distress calls.
Genius.
Women's distress calls, most importantly. That was the thing that had to be stressed. And it was so the writing was so teenage, so 90s. It was so of its time, and it was absolutely incredible to see like his progress through that. And then he went on to talk about like his work in IDW and how he got that job through various contacts, right the way up through Scarenthood, which is an excellent comic. If you guys could buy a copy from him, please do, because it is so worth it. And then all the way into Earthspark. And it was just a fantastic journey to see like how far he's come and where he came from to get to that place.
Yeah, amazing, incredible journey.
Yeah, absolutely cool. And we had ClubCon. Now, ClubCon was truncated, which for two of us was bad news, but for Phil was great. ClubCon was good.
But what there was solid gold.
Yes, absolutely amazing stuff. The cosplay, the Pretenders cosplay thing was so on point this year. Like there wasn't a duff costume or a low effort thing at all anywhere there. Obviously, big shout outs to the overall winners, because there was a fabulous Tigertron that was I think they said it was a college or university project that they'd done as part of their degree.
Nice. I know that.
But for me, I don't know how you guys feel, the big shout outs were to Raziel, who we met on our way in with his big...
Lovely.
He had one of those luggage trolleys just packed with Bruticus, and it was a homemade costume largely made out of card and plastic and bottles and things like that, beautifully done. And he'd gone to the trouble of attaching a tiny Starscream to the helmet, which I thought was a beautiful touch. He got rapturous applause. But who stole the show? It was Hollow Avatar Tailgate. And if you guys don't know this, in a slightly strange twist, in IDW, every Transformer has a hollow avatar for when they want to interact with human-sized creatures. And for some reason, Tailgates is an infant child in a sailor costume. And out came this baby to rapturous applause. Like that kid held the stage, just literally months old in a little cute sailor hat. And absolutely fantastic. What did you guys think of the cosplay?
It was adorable. Just the bewildered look as well. That kid is going to grow up either so embarrassed or into the biggest theatre kid ever as a result of this.
Any favourites out of the cosplays that you saw?
I've got to say, I loved the Blitzwing one. You basically, when I saw the animated Blitzwing, I thought that's incredible. But the one thing that I thought was missing was, the kind of the head rotation, the expression change. And you explained to me, Jay, that it was actually intended to have such a feature, right?
Yeah, so that is Bumblebee's cos on Instagram. And she brought that Blitzwing with the massive shoulders and the wings and everything else. She also brought Knockout, which she had last year. So she brought that out to meet Darren Norris and was chatting and telling me, and I said, somebody next to me when you came out said, that's so cool. Wouldn't it be great if the face changed? And she went, no. I did build a mechanism to change the faceplate to make it rotate. And the other day it caught fire. So it needs a bit of work. I was just amazed. Absolutely incredible.
So, it was incredible regardless.
Yeah, absolutely. That very much stole the show. I think that was a very valid second place, I want to say, for Blitzwing. That was very good. And the winner was Tigertron for the robot category. Such a good costume. Like, had apparently bought a large stuffed tiger toy and then dismembered it to make all the different parts for Tigertron, which is so incredible.
Worthy sacrifice.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. It was a good cosplay. Now, how good was Gav Spencer's script and the reading thereof?
It's hilarious.
So Jessica Carroll and I think it's James Alexander from Cyberworld, the visiting guest voice actors, and Darren Norris, voice actor for Knockout. And who was the fourth chap? I think, is he just like a friend of TFNation, Chris something?
Yeah, I should probably know his name.
We'll find out.
I think they get him to do the narration every year, I think, don't they?
Yeah. And he's got a great voice for it as well. It will probably turn out he's actually a voice actor, and I should know who he is. Guys, I nearly cried laughing.
Yeah, I did cry laughing.
Oh, good. one step further. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. It's the voices that were coming out of James in particular. Like, he's literally having a conversation with himself, with flipping seamlessly between Grimlock and Megatron. I'm like, how are these voices coming from the same guy? It's just incredible, just mind blowing.
And he's quite a slender chap. And you wouldn't imagine like somehow he's getting that full chesty big voice for Grimlock out and for Megatron as well. And it came out, it just comes across so brilliantly. And
it's beautiful.
Jessica Carroll, excellent as Elita 1. And then Darren Norris just stealing the show. just coming in and playing with everybody, and
a couple of hilarious little ad-libs as well. Adding extra spice to a really spicy script.
And letting us know that's what he's doing as well, which was quite fun. I don't think, because not being the uber nerd that we are, I don't think Jessica Carroll got the last joke that she said. I think we got it. It was hilarious, and it was a reference to Knockout and Breakdown. Something along the lines of perhaps deep down there's a good bot deep inside Knockout. And it was so funny, and like the audience fell about laughing. I talked to Gav about that afterwards, and he said that is the only actual innuendo I put in the script. Everything else that you heard and laughed at was your own imaginations. There's nothing to do with me. But it was so good. So good.
Yeah, that was brilliant. I love the script readings every year.
They're always great fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Always worth the ClubCon ticket, I think. That and the cosplay just makes the ticket worthwhile. And then we all got kicked out because we should have got tickets. I regret not getting a ticket now.
Hearing it, I have some mild regret.
Yeah. But somebody who doesn't have mild regret is Phil.
Yeah, I wish I could tell you that it was so that, you might as well have just gone home and just, whacked Vince DiCola on Spotify and be done with it. But I would be lying. It was incredible. Just like being in the room to watch the movie, being in the room with the fans, listening to him play live, and it takes everything to another level. He was incredible. It was such a joy just watching him, and he gets so immersed in it, in his music, and you're seeing him, and he's just like smashing out these tunes you've heard a million times, but it all sounds fresh, and just kind of, I don't know, it hits different. It hits different when you're in that room hearing it live, and with a crowd like that. And then when he brought out the vocalist, Jadel, I believe, that man, his voice was just incredible. Like I said, this the best way I can describe it is his voice was like every 80s movie montage you've ever watched. If you close your eyes and you hear his voice, that's the voice that's singing over the montage. Honestly, it was breathtaking, frankly. You know, they were kicking off. They had like the kind of the main tunes, and I'll admit, after the kind of, you know, like the songs that you know and love from the movie, you know, he did switch it up, and he was kind of like, okay, now I'm going to do a tune from Transformers, Angry Birds. And you know, I've got Wild Wheels hat sitting next to me. He's going, "Oh yeah, I love this one. You know, that game, absolutely love that game." And there's me like, whoosh, like I've, you know, never played the game before, not the first clue, but you hear it, and it's still got his signature, and you know that you've still got like the threads of, you know, like the kind of the Transformers themes, the, you know, that you know and love, and they're woven into this new work. So it feels still like absolutely Vince DiCola. That's his identity, and it's just like, yeah, it's hard not to get swept up in it as well. So it was absolutely incredible. Like even the stuff that you didn't know, it's stuff from some random games that don't even actually have a tenuous connection to Transformers, apart from obviously Vince himself. You know, you were just vibing away, and by the time they got to the end, and you know, he's got JDL back on stage, and you know, you hear the first couple of bars, and it's Dare from the movie, and everyone's up on their feet. Everyone's applauding along, everyone's singing along with like all their heart. It's basically like the biggest karaoke booth in the world. And everyone's just swept up at it. It's such an emotional moment. You know, you can see that on the screen behind, they've got clips from the movie, and yeah, it's hard not to get caught up on it. Honestly, guys, I know it's that extra expense on top of what we're already paying for, you know, the ticket for each day plus CupCon, and then I totally get it. Like the thought of putting out more money for the concert alone, it's completely understandable, and you know, I do respect that. But for me, and I think for a lot of people, yeah, it was. I was with UK Mets, and he said he actually thought it was better than Stan Bush.
Wow.
At TFN all those years ago.
That's
now,
high
I don't know
praise.
if he was just being. I don't know if he was just being kind to make me feel better, but I didn't need it, because yeah, we had an absolute whale of a time.
Fantastic. I mean, we should have gone down. My mum would have bought us tickets. It was a once in a lifetime thing. Like, that's not gonna come round again. And I do have regrets, and it's been nice seeing like bits pop up on YouTube and things. And emotional was the word that everybody used when they came out. Everybody was fizzing and buzzing about it. Everybody was so thrilled to have just been part of that. It was absolutely incredible. And yeah, Phil, you were walking on air when you came out as well. You looked like you just had an experience. It was amazing.
Yeah, I was basking.
So it was into the bar, and it was watching you guys drink and enjoying soft drinks, so while you guys enjoy yourself. But actually, I still had an amazing time, and there was card games, there was people around. It was just fun watching everybody have a really good time. You know, hanging out with Tans, with Nemesis, and with Rotorstorm, and everybody who would sit with us, and UK Mets and all of those guys. It was just fantastic to have that time afterwards, to be part of that buzz at the end of it as well. And I was walking past a table, and somebody yelled my full name at me, and I sort of stopped and turned around and said, yes. And they said, oh, you've won a prize. And I was like, sorry? And they said, yeah, you've won the raffle. And I said, what, the Toy Fu one? He said, yeah. And I couldn't help it. I did a little joyous dance, because, you know, I never win anything. And it's all raffle prizes. But I have a one-of-a-kind custom hubcap, painted and decoed like Prince Adam of He-Man, which is incredible.
I feel that's very fitting for you.
Well, I don't know what yeah, okay, possibly. But I loved it. Absolutely fantastic prize. And I got that the next day. Dan, you also won because you had a challenge going on at the whole weekend.
Yes. Yeah, so I mentioned this in our previous episode, but I had a self-imposed challenge to buy as many toys as possible for the price of a Hilton fish finger sandwich. I set myself some other limitations as well. Like it can just be, 5 blind boxes of blockies or something. You had to like all be different robots to kind of have a bit of challenge. I did get one blocky in there, but other than that, what did I get? I got Beast Machine Scavenger for a £5. Movie Soundwave again for a £5, and Legend Cybertron Megatron for about £4. So I think all in, I paid 18 quid. So I had a quid left over because, of course, the fish finger sandwich at the Hilton is £19.
Yeah,
Oof, eye-watering.
But it was good.
It's
I
insane.
bought some things that I wouldn't normally buy, just kind of like little things that I'd kind of normally skip over because it's small and not interesting. And I think star of that would have been Beast Machine Scavenger, who I am fiddling with as we speak, and just keep picking up and flipping between modes because he's a great little figure.
He's such a
especially
weird
for
looking
£5.
toy. Like,
great.
Yeah, what a bargain as well. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah. It's kind of proof of concept that you can enjoy TFNation and kind of get yourself a few figures on not actually a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
If you look around and aren't kind of dropping it the rare figures or like all the new stuff.
Exactly.
There is, there's bargains to be had.
It only costs you the price of one bougie fish finger sandwich.
Admittedly, it is an incredibly fish finger sandwich. Sorry, an incredibly expensive fish finger sandwich. But this point still stands. You still can buy at least 4 Transformers for the price of a fish finger sandwich.
There are bargains to be had, and I fished out like a handful of tiny turbo changes for pennies. Got stickers from Abby Bulmer for a few quid, just all sorts of bits and pieces. And also, the artists and the guests are perfectly happy to sign stuff without you buying anything. So you can go around and you can get stuff signed, and they're happy to do that. I saw an amazing thing with the lady in front of me for the queue to see Ed Peary, the artist, and she got a print signed, and then he said, "Oh, do you know JP coloured this?" And she said, "Oh no, I didn't." She said, "Hang on a minute," and he just reached over his stall and tapped JP on the shoulder and said, "Would you sign this for this lady?" And so he signed that. So she didn't even have to queue up for it as well. And then he handed it back. That was really cool to see. And then the night just went on, didn't it, into the early hours of the morning, with people just playing with toys, chatting, drinking, and having a really good time. And I was flagging by like 11:30, 12 o'clock, and then I saw Phil pouring himself another drink, and I was just like, I think I'm here for a bit more. So I went for a wander and just started chatting to people on different tables. And it's lovely because like people just sit and unbox things that they've bought at the table. So every table is scattered with toys. It looks like the dealer hall's just moved into the bar. People are sort of playing with stuff and swapping things and showing things off to people. And then eventually you caught me. It was about 1:30. You found me wandering around the bar, chatting to people, and decided it was time to go home. And we weren't allowed to go home. We got stuck, didn't we, in the car park?
You can never leave.
We now exist in the Hilton.
The Hilton had no record of me paying for the parking. They were really good about it because we spoke to a couple of... We said all our goodbyes. Then I had to come back because I thought somebody was going to sell me something. And then we went out to the car again. So we said goodbye again. And then we tried to leave and we couldn't leave. So we parked up again and we came back in again and said hello to everybody we just said goodbye to. Found a concierge, found security, got it sorted out, and then said goodbye and left and walked out again. And like 2 of our friends were sitting at the door for like the whole time we were doing that, just watching us go in and out of the flipping front door. But we got home in the early hours of Sunday morning, having told everybody, see you later on today, which was fantastic. But we had such a good time. And then, another 4 or 5 hours sleep followed. Oh my God. And we're not even touching on everything that we did in those 3 days, because there were so many people to see, so many people to chat to, so many things going on. People handing us stuff, cosplayers handing out stickers, so many people that just had incredible stuff going on. But Sunday, later on that morning, we woke up and we got back in the car and we headed in, and that brings us to Ralph and Matt. So also very much a landmark TFN, because it was Matthew's first. And Matthew, you came up with Ralph just for the day. Do you guys want to quickly talk about your journey up, how that went?
I've done it before, and I have to say, I swear it gets easier every year. It might have been having a passenger, actually. You carry on, Matt.
Well, I was going to say it flew by. It was lovely, actually. Ralph makes good company for a drive. Lots of nice conversation. And we popped off at a boot sale on the way because it was nice and early. I didn't pick anything up at the boot, but I will forever be haunted by that particular Portaloo.
Yeah, they are.
Do we need more details, or do we just stop
Well, it tried
there?
to kill me as well. My one was trying to break one of my arms, because with the spring on the door was so strong, literally trying to break an arm. So definitely, Furnace End boot sale in Birmingham. Do it, by all means, but maybe ablutions first, so you don't need to use the facilities.
Was it a mimic rather than a Portaloo?
It could be.
It might have been.
Really could be. It really could be. It was that weird. But I've done it. This is my thing. I do TFN. I do one day. I don't like to spend too much away from the family. It is actually a pretty pleasant 2.5 hour drive. As I say, we go to the boot on the way. I do like a boot. It was really nice to have somebody along. He was fantastic because my phone gave up halfway. So the navigation, it was massively helpful to have someone else in the car.
Had to rely on Matt
Nav. Although I didn't quite figure out when we got there, because the last time I did this, because I've done this like 4 times now, when we got there, I went to the shopping centre instead of having to queue up for the dealer hall at 10 o'clock. Were we just really late? Because there was no queue for the dealer hall. It was already open. I swear it was only about 10:10. So did I get
Sunday is always quieter.
Oh, is it? Okay.
There's only one queue on a Sunday, and
quiet.
there was, I would say, less than half. Yeah, there was less than half the people on a Saturday.
Oh my God, that's terrifying.
I would say that the
Yeah.
first thing that struck me as I went into the dealer hall on Sunday morning was that it just looked fully stocked. The last couple of times I've been, and I've walked in again on a Sunday morning. There isn't any pre-sales on a Sunday, is there? There's nothing before 10 o'clock,
No.
is there?
No.
Honestly, yeah.
No,
But
there's no early access.
It's always looked to me on a Sunday as if sort of a lot of it was gone. You know, there'd been this manic thing on a Saturday, but it just looked so full.
I think
this time.
The vendors must just have a better handle on how much stock they actually need to bring these days, so they save some for the Sunday lot, I guess.
Yeah.
In Demand said they took a second van, so they obviously had a plan to bring more stuff. They ran out of stuff last year. I remember that. Cool. What time did you guys have to start your journey then?
6 o'clock. Yeah, I was aiming for 5:45, but I had a half-hour angry conversation with the car about the fact that it wouldn't let my Bluetooth work. So that delayed me by about half an hour because I was shouting at the car while sitting outside my house and going absolutely nowhere. But yeah, we left at 6 and got there we were at the boot for probably 3/4 of an hour. We got there about 10:10. Because we did the normal thing. I've said this before. I've put this on TFW as well. I don't think it's a massive secret. I pre-booked a parking space at the NEC. So it's like £7.50. So it was a £5 last year. Actually, it's gone up. But unfortunately, as I said to Matt, it's luck of the draw. This year we were inverted commas going to Gladiators, in close inverted commas, in terms of the parking, and that's literally the other side of the NEC. So it was a good quarter of an hour walk, maybe 20 minutes.
From one place. So if you walk really quick.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, that's not using. Walking is a thing that I need to do. It's not an entertainment value. I just get it done. Having a greyhound probably helps. But So if you are somebody that is going to have 17 bags of stuff that you've bought, you probably don't want to do it, because it is a good 20-minute walk, and obviously it was so hot anyway, that, but if you want to park for cheap, you can do it. You just say you're going to one of those shows, which you're not. Although, did you see? So I didn't see a queue in the morning for the dealer hall, but we did see a queue, didn't we, Matthew, on the way back to the car?
We did massive one for what was it called?
Huge. The Festival of Quilts.
Festival of Quilts.
Yeah. And this was 4 o'clock.
We shared a hotel with QuiltCon.
But this was 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We were walking back to the car, so they were.
There is no good time for quilting. All time is good time for quilting.
Precisely. But
because you obviously weren't there earlier in the weekend, but they sort of had space on Thursday, and then by Saturday they realised there was no space at the bar if you don't have a plastic toy, which isn't like us aggressively taking over, but it is we need the space. We need to sit down with our friends and talk about robots, and so I think they felt kind of pushed out a little bit.
The Festival of Quilts?
There was. Yes. Yeah. There was an adorable moment at the end of Sunday, though, where I saw a group of the quilters talking very excitedly with the Blitzwing cosplayer.
Oh, that was, yeah, but that was such a good costume. They were clearly talking
you
shop,
were obviously
weren't they,
not
about like
abused
sewing
by
and
its shoulders.
Yeah, we found a way to bridge the gap.
Yeah,
is what I'm saying.
100%.
I'm proud of us as a franchise.
I was abused by Blitzwing shoulders so many times. You didn't even have to get anywhere close, because obviously, being a human being, you have a natural ability to know where the rest of your human body is at any one time. But having 2 bits of boxes stuck out of either shoulder or being Blitzwing, I think it throws off your personal field slightly, and I just kept getting hit by the shoulders. I think
it's understandable with a Decepticon.
Yeah,
I feel like a Decepticon has no care for your personal space anyway. Had it been like an Autobot, I think we could understand being a bit insulted.
But,
it was all in character. Well, I was going to say, like, you guys came in, we met you outside the dealer hall. I can't remember, did we go straight in or did we go to the panel? I think we went straight into the dealer hall, didn't we?
You were in a panel, I think.
No, we found you in the dealer hall.
Yeah, you were in a panel and you popped out to say hello and then popped back. And I will admit, the first sort of 5-10 minutes in the dealer hall, I was like, I don't want to move. There's way too much going on. I absolutely a bit overwhelmed. But I don't know, I got in the swing of it fairly quickly. And it was just cool. I just let it kind of all hit me. I must have done several laps before I got to the kind of point in my head where I was like, okay, well, this is where I'm kind of thinking, if I'm going to buy something, this is where I'm going to go. But it was just cool. It was just quite impressive. It was cool to kind of be in a room and kind of get a sense of, I'm not the nerdiest person here. This is a very safe space. I think somebody overheard me talking about the way I headcanon a particular figure. And I just sort of saw this guy who I wasn't talking to, but next to me kind of nodding and agreeing with me and said, yeah, no, I could see that. And I was like, welcome to the conversation. It was really cool. It was just nice and a really sort of an accepting environment, if not terrifying. Like, if you can imagine walking into a wasp's nest and all the wasps saying, good morning, how are you? It felt like that.
Somebody compared it to being mugged, and I said, yeah, if you like the mugger and you support what they're doing and you want to support their career.
And they've got change.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I did notice it. I got really worried because you were lapping around the place and you were sort of pottering around. I was like, he's got no shopping bags yet. What is happening? He's going to miss everything he's seen. Like, obviously you had the right approach because I don't. I have a sense of urgency and a worry that I'm going to miss something that I really like. But I do a couple of laps, maybe 2 or 3 of different stalls, and then I come back and I'm hoping that what I looked at is still there. But you were just like, if it's there, it's there. If it's not, it's not. And I was really impressed by your apparent carefreeness.
I think you have to do.
I wasn't.
It was a good combination of kind of being aware that I'm reducing some of my collections as it is, so there was no kind of need to buy for the sake of buying, and and a distinct lack of money in my life helps. So I had to be a bit more choosy. It certainly didn't stop me. In the end, I spent exactly halfway between my kind of, this is what I'd aim to spend, but this is the absolute maximum I would spend. And I got halfway between those two, which was pretty good.
Okay.
And I got a lot of cool stuff.
Cool.
And yeah, I had Dan as the devil on my shoulder at half of the stalls going, oh, you should buy that.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Yeah, you do that, don't you, Dan? You find things for people.
Only to Matt. Well, I found a few for Phil just because he told me what he wanted.
Yeah, and I found you your Sunstorm, didn't I?
The last blocky.
Happened to manage something. Happened to mention something, and about 5 minutes later, I'm sifting through a box, and I'm like, oh, I think that's that thing he was talking about. And, but I mean, I think in relation to the going round the room, you do have to go around the room. The most extreme thing I found was something in a box for £5, which admittedly didn't seem to have accessories, and the same thing with accessories on a different stall for 35 quid. And I was like, you do have to shop around a bit. I think just getting the first thing, although I didn't, that was, one of the few things I saw that was it, that was that extreme. But I think, there's certainly an element of shopping around first.
Mm-hmm. I had a funny morning because obviously I wanted to try and say hello to you guys, welcome you to the con, but you'd got yourselves well settled by the time I actually found you. Mostly because I went to the wrong end of the hotel first, because for some reason I thought you'd be coming from the opposite side to the NEC. But then, and like you said, we were in a panel, and I ducked out. I ducked out to come and see you, came back, ducked out again to go and give my last badge to somebody, and then came back, and then ducked out again because somebody said the Darren Norris line was short. So it was, I missed, was it The Anatomy of a Bot, Phil, Dan? Was that what you were watching?
Yeah, that was the early one we went to, I think.
What did I miss? What was that like?
It was good. It was talking more about the design process for figures. So they're going through, like, this is how we model the prototypes. This is how we do our CAD models. This is how it costs a small fortune to create the tooling, and that kind of thing. So there's a nice overview of the process. They talked quite a lot about Unicron during that one, so I felt I didn't need to go to the later Unicron dedicated panel. But yeah, as the name implies, they also talked a lot about bots, and just how the kind of the process for them is kind of very, very rough and simple, when they just kind of have a lot of fun going, okay, well, here's a shape of an object, here's the bits we're going to kind of pull out to turn it into a robot.
I did see as well, they had a cardboard mock-up of Unicron, just to say, guys, this is how big the toy is going to be, this is what you've got to get behind. And then they were like, oh yeah, this is still at Takara, this is still there, which I thought was quite impressive.
Well, I think they said they do like a cardboard mock-up, then they do a foam mock-up, then they do the it
was quite interesting to hear that they actually used those early mock-ups, and then they basically hand that over to the people doing the packaging, because basically these things are being sort of done in parallel, so you're not like waiting until you've got the final toy and then someone's like, right, boxing team, all over to you, and they're like cheers guys.
I feel like a cardboard unicorn might be in my price range.
Perspective.
No, not this one. There's a guy. He's famous in the community. He's famous anyway. It's his name is Raz, and he's an actor and a voice actor. I think he's Count Duckula is his thing.
Oh, wow.
And his hobby is collecting prototypes, resin, cardboard, wood prototypes, and they are not like, oh, that's just made of cardboard, I'll have that. They are like, this one Takara designer made this one thing this one time, and now it's worth a mortgage. It's not cheap. So that's good. Did you enjoy the panel overall? Was it informative?
It was. It put a lot of, I think, decisions and things that go wrong with Transformers into a bit of perspective.
Oh yeah, I was sorry.
Like Like, when people are saying, "Oh, well, couldn't this thing have been this retool have had like a lot more done to it?" It is because literally they can only retool. They might only have the budget to retool one of the two molds they used to make it. So the stuff that's on that mold they can change. The stuff that's on the other one they can't touch.
Right.
I thought it was quite interesting as well, hearing the kind of the dynamic between Hasbro and Takara. The idea that Takara were very much like, this is the thing, shut up Hasbro, this is the way it's gonna be. And Hasbro like,
Yeah, and then Hasbro get hold of it for like the latter half, and then they're the ones going, "No, we don't care what you think now, Takara. We're just doing this." It's very, very odd. It doesn't seem like a proper dialogue going through between the two.
Oh, that's really sad, because whenever they do the panels, they're like, "Oh, Hasui-san did great work on this, and we worked really closely with them," and it looks like when your homework used to get marked in red pen. Like Mark Mayer and Nate are always just drawing red lines on everything Takara does and sending it back sharper, wider, narrower.
They're just writing.
Must do better.
That's really interesting though, that they what was the chap's name? Oh, I'm gonna have to look the chap's name up now. But that he was so candid about it. He's one of their Hong Kong designers, isn't he? But it's just interesting that he's just so open about
Joe,
the relationship.
Joe.
Yeah. Cool. So I missed all of that because I ducked out to get rid of the last ID card, and then I went to see Darren Norris, and he was fun. He was really nice. Like, there's always a thing in a queue for a guest where you're like, oh, he's spending time and he's talking to people. He's actually talking to everybody he meets. Oh, he's spending time talking to everyone. Oh no, this queue's going to take forever. But it was really good. He was really, really friendly. And I asked him about, I think he covered this. I found out later he covered this in the panel, but I asked him about the characterization of Knockout and whether it was intended to be LGBTQ coded at the beginning. And he just looked at me and he said, well, they hired me. So presumably there was something about it. And then he leant forward and he said, I intended it, which was really cool. And then he autographed my Knockout Prime toy, which was really cool. And then we took a photograph together. And yeah, really, really nice, friendly guy. Really, really worth. I think it was worth stepping out of the panel for. It was fantastic. Ralph, did you find anything on your hunt around the dealer room?
I said before that the only thing that I would was the Guitar Optimus, which I didn't see anywhere. Was there any on Saturday? I didn't think to ask. Yeah,
no, didn't see a flasher of
I
that.
didn't see any.
But I mean that is what it is. I mean that on its own would have been the entire budget that I planned on spending. And yes, I can spend more than that if I want to, but that was sort of what I planned. But I literally bought hands, feet, just bits of just weird things. I actually meant to go back and buy one of the Decepticon thrones from the 3D guy.
Oh, I did look at those.
Okay. Yeah, they are actually really nice. The weird thing, though, I don't know if you noticed, was that some of the 3D printed things like Scorponok was more expensive than actually buying Scorponok. And you're like, I think this might be missing the point here. And Funby Studios. I thought Funby Studios were there, the designers that do like the pit and that giant squid thing, whatever it's called. And they just as designers, they're incredible. To create these 3D things that people can spend a $5 on, and print it themselves, or of course I get someone else to do it. But they weren't there this year, which I was a little bit disappointed by. Yeah. Although there's a massive differential between the fact that they charge £5 for you to download the design, but they were selling things last year of the same things, but they were selling them for like £45 because they printed them and painted them, and yeah, they've done a pretty good job of it. But I can see that there's obviously this massive differential between selling the things you've done or just selling the STLs for obviously quite a small amount. So I can see why there wouldn't maybe have been the profitability of them being there again. And I just have to say, Thank you on two fronts, actually, to Luke and Monks, so Luke and Tees. One, because he's fantastic and I got another shirt off him and his stuff is great. And the second one is because he took our photo for us.
Yeah, that was lovely.
And it's just much easier to get someone else to do it. I think I've still got a shirt on order with him. I actually didn't have too much of a look at his stall. I think I was just distracted by other things. But yeah, when I got... I did say, again, I've said this before, and I don't think it's any kind of secret. But if you do hang around till 4 o'clock, there are sometimes some deals. The blokies, I mean, you could see, and it's very obvious, and it's absolutely fine. And I'm not having a go. You could see that certain stuff was being taken off the table because they didn't want to discount it.
Fair.
But they were discounting things towards the end, in like 20 minutes, half an hour. And absolutely, again, shout out to Prime Time. Who did the same in the last sort of 20 minutes, half an hour. They were sort of re-stickering things. So I got the KOSS Optimus for 30 quid, which I think is fantastic. It's that to pay that for that toy, which will cost you at least 50 quid online, and not to be able to sort of look at it and say, well, is that something I want? I mean, I didn't know that the Megatron arm went in the trailer. I think that's really cool. It's just such a stupid little thing, but I'm like, oh look, you can just put it in the trailer if you're not using it. But yeah, to have that tactability, is that a word? I don't know. Rather than sort of paying for something online, and for them to discount it towards the end as well, for those people that are still there. We know they don't want to put these boxes back in their van. Exactly. We know they want to take as little home as possible. And especially with the Blokey store, where they were selling boxes at a time, these are big things to shove in the back of a bloody van. We know they want to get rid of them. So it's helpful for both. People are getting stuff cheaper than, if they do, you've got to run your nerve. Haven't you? Oh, should I buy that now, or shall I see if I can get it cheaper later? Oh,
exactly.
Will it still be there?
Yeah, that's the game you got to play, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who were the guys? I know we're going to come on to this in a second, but the guys that we had the raffle tickets for.
Oh, T4E.
Yeah, he was really good all day, because they even on the Saturday they had like you buy two, you get a certain amount off, but quite early on during the Sunday, he was just like, everything is 30% off. Have at it.
Oh yeah, he was he the guy with the raffle. He was the raffle guy. They were good. They were good.
I picked up quite a few items from there.
Shall we talk about the raffle, because
I'm still bitter.
That was weird. That was so weird, because we all went. I had Phil's ticket, and you guys all had your own ticket, because every time you bought an item, you got a ticket.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yes.
And Phil, you wanted to sit in the panel, so I took yours, and we were standing there, and they called. The first prize was the Missing Link Cliff Jumper, which is really nice, and we didn't get that. But he was really good at drumming up enthusiasm for it. And he did a quick count, and there was like 50 or 60 of us just swarming his one stand waiting for this thing. There was a kid at the front who was hyperactive and really excited to get a countdown going and everything, which we all joined in with at the end, which was just awesome. And then he called that prize, and somebody got the Missing Link, and then he started calling out like runner-up prizes of these deluxes. And the first one came up, and the guy wasn't here. And then the second one came up, and it was Phil's ticket.
Can I do the numbers? Is it okay if I do the numbers?
Do you remember the numbers?
Because I'm standing there with number 234. Okay, I've got number 234. I've remembered this. I've got number 234, and up comes 235, and I'm like, so he calls 235, and so 235 wins. And was that Phil's ticket? That was Phil. So Phil wins. That's 235. I'm not right. Okay. Well, I'm not going to win now because they've done 235. So 234 isn't going to win because that's just stupid. So then he calls another number. I think there might have been another one in between, and then he calls another number, 236, and I'm going, well, it's nearly 234, but it's not me. But it was. But 236 was it you, Dan? It was. So 236 has now come up. Yeah. So Dan's now won something. And so I'm still standing there going, now it's even less likely because 225's come out, 226 has come out, 234 is never going to come out. And so the next guy, he pulls out the next one, 234. And I'm just like, what? And even he went, what's going on with these 2-3 numbers? So it was literally the numbers next to each other, and we were all going, oh, that's me. Oh,
definitely not a fix.
No, definitely not.
Well, I think you
No,
you make it sound like a
I
fix,
do,
Ralph,
yeah.
but there were numbers in
Yeah,
between,
Yeah,
and people hadn't shown up to
Yeah.
collect them, so he was just chucking that number
So
and
what
drawing
we're
the next
saying
one.
is,
So we were like the third or fourth choice for each
so
one.
those people mysteriously did not turn up. Good going, guys. Just saying.
At the back of the crowd
I
with someone's
couldn't-
hand over their mouth.
Yeah, love this brag.
I think there were two other. I think there were two other winners. And then I thought what was really lovely is right at the end, he had some of the little like the £5 cheapy boxes that he gave out to any of the young kids there, and I just thought, that's a real class act. Like that's really lovely. So because the little kid right at the front,
he was a good
little
guy.
kid right at the front who's bouncing off the walls. I was just really glad that kid got something. I was like, I'm really pleased. I just thought it was lovely. And well done, 3 out of 4 of us who won things, and I'm not bitter at all.
Hey, you were there.
Matt, I'm kind of bitter because I had to pick Phil's prize out of the ones on the show, and I thought he's not going to want Armada Wheeljack. He's probably got an original Armada Wheeljack. I'll get that, and then he'll say, "Oh, I've got this," or "I don't want it," and I'll buy it off him for a £5. And then Phil went, "Oh, awesome, cool."
I don't have this one.
Fine. You can have your prize. That's yours by rights. Fine.
You could have absolutely lied.
I really enjoy my Cosmos.
Cosmos is amazing,
cool
isn't he?
game,
I
yeah.
can't believe you've not experienced Legacy Cosmos before. And Ralph, what did you get?
I got the one that was left. I got animated Bumblebee, which
That's a good little toy.
It is
too.
a great toy, and I really like animated Bumblebee. But I don't know. Most people will know my loyalty vengeance to animated, which is that I have. Okay, I buckled like a belt. I bought the animated Optimus because it was lovely, and I wanted to put the extra kit on it. I purposely hadn't bought this because of my loyalty to animated Bumblebee, so I've now bought it anyway. I've got it anyway.
Nice.
I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it yet.
It's destiny.
I still don't have that animated
Animated
Optimus.
Ratchet's really good.
No, he looks nice.
Oh, it's so nice. Ralph, I kind of copied you because Space Bridge had made me wait 24 hours because they were too busy, and I went up there with a shopping list of parts, cyber planet keys, missile launchers, things like that, and he was actually able to help me finish Cybertron Sky Shadow. So I've got like guns and keys for him, which is it's really cool because this stuff takes up space and they don't know which of it is going to sell, and he had just trays and trays and trays of just bits of like limbs and guns and missiles and accessories. It was really cool. So I got that sorted out. While we were doing that, though, Phil, you were in a panel.
Yeah, I was in the Target 1986 panel, which, no surprise, was based on the Target 2005 story from back in the day in the old UK Marvel run. This is a big story for me growing up, kind of a core memory, and one of the reasons. One of the reasons why the UK comic was just so epic, and that's kind of like where it started, and then so much flowed from then. So it was really great.
It's so cool that you can't remember its name properly.
Target 2006, isn't it?
Yep. Because they got that. Well, you might be able to tell us from the panel. They got that date from Hasbro, Sunbow and Marvel. And then it got changed as the script was being written for the.
That's because
movie.
I remembered it from the original script. That's why I got it wrong. Easy as that.
There you go. So what was it? What was the focus of the panel?
So we've had appreciate
derailed you.
the call up. Won't fix it in edit. It's fine. So we had James Roberts moderating, which is excellent. It's kind of unusual. It's kind of like having someone who is now such a big part of the Transformers community talking to 2 others who, to him, they're his heroes. So it's kind of having this kind of like sort of generational loving going on there, because he's talking to Simon Furman, who's the writer, and Jeff Senior, who handled like some of the kind of the key art. There was a couple of artists over this, pretty much like one of the longest sort of ongoing storylines within the Transformers comic. In fact, if not the longest one, I think. You had Jeff Senior there, who was like, he did a lot of the kind of the real iconic stuff, the things that people still talk about to this day. And it was just sort of, like a little bit of a deep dive into kind of the behind the scenes, the whole way that basically the story came out before the movie in the UK. So essentially, they had to be kind of quite careful about what they did reveal, what they didn't reveal. There's some things you can't avoid, like who Galvatron actually is. There's those kind of spoilers, but Megatron gets replaced at some point. So they do touch on some stuff, but other bits and pieces they were kind of a bit more cagey about. It's pretty fascinating that it was kind of almost pitched rather than kind of saying, "Oh, this is a movie tie-in." The key impetus behind the whole thing was having Ultra Magnus and Galvatron up front, because basically they're being pitched as the new leaders. These are the new toys that are coming out. So they had like kind of a sort of real good synergy with the Hasbro marketing team, where they would basically say, right, these are the toys that we're kind of pitching for you, and like these are the comics that we're making, and then like, okay, great. So you even wound up with kind of comic covers appearing on TV adverts for the toys. So it's kind of like each one was feeding the other. Which is just, like kind of, it makes sense, like it's that whole kind of Star Wars cynical thing. It's like, basically it was there just to sell the toys, but that's not how you saw it growing up. But it's kind of a lot easier to see in retrospect. It's pretty cool.
Back when they knew how to market Transformers together with all the other parts of the media and all the other parts of the company working together at the same time.
Exactly, exactly. Having the comic and a cartoon and toys, and it's the same product, guys.
Yeah, because the US got the movie in September, so the Marvel comics were to tie in with that release, but we didn't get it till December. So the fill-in comics, we had to write more comics that filled in, like you said, without spoiling it. I mean, Target 2006 is such a good story anyway, but it largely involves hiding Optimus and Megatron out of the way until we can get to the movie adaptation where we can tell you what actually happened to them.
Yeah, they had to. Exactly. That's the whole point. It's kind of like you need to kind of just put Optimus up to one side, because otherwise you're gonna have sort of Optimus and Magnus side by side taking on Galvatron. It's like no, this is Ultra Magnus's time. They had to kind of discreetly move people like Omega Supreme out of the way, because he would have just completely upset the entire balance of everything. He would just come along and just stomp on everything. It's like no, we need to sideline him. So it's just it's funny seeing the kind of the thinking behind like some of the story beats that they had to do, basically. Like the initial appearance of Galvatron and Co, they looked like their toys, because basically the Marvel team hadn't actually shared the character sheets with the UK office at all. There's just a complete disconnect there. So it's only later on down the line they're like, oh yeah, no, this is actually what the characters should look like. This is how they're drawn in the cartoon. It's like, oh, well, cheers, lads. Thanks for that.
This all sounds
late, but hey.
This all sounds very, very cool, but I have no real context for any of this, so I'm afraid my brain has wandered a little to having to write a story where you just don't acknowledge the fact that Optimus Prime has died, and my brain is concocting a story I'm going to call Weekend at Burnouts.
Yeah, it was kind of like that, but kind of not, because as far as the UK was concerned, he hadn't died yet. So they had the problem of introducing characters that were going on the shelves before the movie came out, and tying it into that kind of sequence. So there's a whole... I mean, if you haven't read Target 2006, go read it. But there's a whole faff with like a mock-up of Starscream, and I'm saying this right, and there's an intergalactic laser that they're building, and there's all kinds of story goes on, and they have to distract Galvatron for 20 minutes, so Ultra Magnus sacrifices, allows himself to be a punch bag for the duration of it. It's an interesting story, and what I love about it is that it says that Simon Furman started as one of us. He was like a continuity nerd who said, I need to fit this in the gap properly because I will know that it doesn't fit. And I think that's something that we can sort of appreciate from it. So on the subject of panels, Matthew, a lot of firsts for you. You had your first panel, which was Beast Wars. How did you find that?
I really enjoyed it. It was mostly sort of fascinating because I think so. So the first thing was, I was very nerdy and excited to see Chris McFeely. That for me is such a weird thing, because I've never been one to sort of chase celebrities in any sort of way. Like, it just doesn't really faze me in any way. But there's something really different about somebody in this sphere who kind of quietly means a bit to me. I feel like if you got Chris McFeely and said to him, "Do you think you're a celebrity?" he'd say, "Absolutely not." But he definitely is. Yeah, to me massively. So I think he's great. And I loved seeing him sort of on stage talking passionately about his own experiences. So the one I saw was about the syndication of Beast Wars, and how that kind of, or I suppose really, about the complete lack of syndication for Beast Wars, and how awkward and difficult it was to get over in the UK. It kind of churned up some memories for me as well. I was a bit younger, I think, but I remember watching Beast Wars, I think specifically for me, on Shake. So I would have seen it one after the next. I'd only really got to grips with watching the whole thing through years later, but it was just really cool. It was great to sort of have a room full of people just vibing on the same thing. And definitely a room full of old people. I say old people, meaning me as well, where he'd reference something from telly back in the day, and the whole room was sort of going like, I've never had an entire room like wistfully groan lovingly for GMTV. That was the weirdest experience, but so cool. Somewhere out in the world, Eamon Holmes just felt a warm wash over him. Like, it was so...
Everyone applauded when Mr. Motivator came
that
on.
was funny.
Oh my god, yeah, Mr. Motivator. Can you name this man? And the room was full of people who could name Mr. Motivator. The panel I thought was really interesting. I wasn't into Beast Wars, but it was really fascinating to hear that, on this bank holiday, you got episode 1. And the next bank holiday, whenever that is, you might get episode 2, possibly episode 3. Who knows, I mean, how people became Beast Wars fans that first run round, I have no idea. Absolutely insane.
Can you imagine anything trying that now? It's so emblematic of the time that you'd essentially, for a year, you'd maybe get 7 episodes. And now...
The thinking was, Matt, kids are stupid, they won't notice.
Yeah.
But it worked. Kids, you're right, kids were fans of Beast Wars. It did well. It's insane to me.
Well, the story isn't stupid, but the episode run was.
Yeah, absolutely.
The episode run was just daft. They left out, is it Code of Honor and the agenda? They didn't get into the initial run until later, which was absolutely fascinating. Some key point ones. But yeah, so you enjoyed your first panel? You found that
I did.
Uplifting and interesting?
It was really good fun. It was really interesting. It made me just, I suppose, a little bit... I think it really reminded me why I've got a connection to a lot of these characters. And why I've developed such a sort of a comfort in this franchise. Yeah, it felt like a really nice shared experience. It's definitely something that I think... not if I come back, when I come back, because this is going to be something I want to look forward to again. I want to get a bit more of. It was definitely a bit of me to just kind of passively nerd out about things. If I can one day get myself up on there and scream about how everything's the wrong size for an hour, magic.
We're working our way there slowly.
That is definitely the kind of panel I could see happening at TFN as well.
I think you'd be really good at that. You and a couple of people, and if we could get your fan drawings of what Bruticus should look like, and that sort of thing, that would look amazing. I think we need a few more followers before they'll put us on that stage.
A lot more followers.
But having said that, now Dan, I'm going to get this wrong. Is our first TFN the Gunpla, the robots through Japan one? Was that our first TFN?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, and apparently that came about because the previous year Erica just said, I can do that, and jumped up in the middle of a panel and got involved. And so the next time around they said, you're an interesting person to have up, let's get you back again. So yeah, it can happen, kids. Miracles can happen. I would come and watch that, and I would say sarcastic comments very loudly from the back and heckle you all the way through.
I would put you in your place professionally and coolly.
Yeah, right.
I think I'm shortly jumping off, so I was just going to kind of if we're in about the right spot, I think just sort of cover my thoughts overall, if that's all right with you guys.
Yes, please. Yeah, I was going to ask you, how did you find your first TFNation?
I had a great time. As I say, apart from that initial kind of I'm a little bit like a dog. Like, if you put me in a new location, I'm going to be a little bit scared. And then as soon as I know that nobody's going to attack me, I want to know what everything is. I'm going to go and I'm going to find everything, and it's going to be amazing and exciting and interesting.
Is that why you were sniffing everyone?
No, that's different.
So, you found your stride, you became comfortable and you enjoyed it, and you want to come back.
I do, definitely. I definitely want to come back. I will need more money. The vendors hall was very exciting. I walked away with 2 boxes of Blocky's wheels, which I never thought I was going to collect. But then, having just built all of those, I'm like, oh no, I need to get box 1 as well, because I got 2 and 3. And they're brilliant, I love them. They're really cool.
Yes.
Yeah, that surprised me even. I got the as Ralph said, I got Sunstorm Blocky, who was the last seeker I needed for my collection, so very, very, very pleased about that. It's weird that in my head he had the wrong hands, but I've bought enough Blockies now that I was able to swap them out with no trouble.
Oh my god!
Yeah. It's I've got several boxes of just bits and things. It's great. I also got the 2 Gamer Edition Seekers. I already had Starscream, but I got Skywalk and Thundercracker. I've got all 3 of them now. They're going to look wonderful together. Never in bot mode because that plane looks weird, but in vehicle mode. Because the bots look fantastic. I really had a great time. And if whatever stage my life is at by the next time this rocks around, I can come for more time and maybe do a couple of days, I might give it a go. Why not?
Just think, Matt, you can have me whispering in your ear all weekend.
Well, that's a terrifying prospect, isn't it? It's a good thing my wife doesn't listen to this, really, isn't it?
Buy this, Matt.
Buy it, Matt.
I did. I did also pick up a Gunpla, which was almost entirely Dan's fault. That's not a hobby I do, but I keep looking at them and kind of going like, oh, that looks. Well, it is now. This is your fault. I'm furious.
Advocating for the defence, I stood next to you and you said, Dan, which one do I need? Because I have this and this. What goes with them?
No comment, Your Honour.
So when you get the job that you're looking for, and things are a little bit more stable financially, will you become part of our Thursday crew? Will you come just to not see panels, not buy robots, just to hang out?
Oh, that'd be lovely. That sounds smarter, actually. I think amazing. Arriving and being in the dealer hall immediately was a lot. Whereas, I reckon if I maybe coming out and just chilling out for a first bit, easing myself into it all, that might be a good move. And then maybe I will get overconfident and write to somebody and go, I'd like to shout about how everything's the wrong size.
Here's a fun fact. Everybody from TFNation, and I mean attendees and guests and staff running it, turns up in the bar at some point in the evening. So if you haven't rushed home, you can corner Dave Wallace, or you can corner Simon Furman or Nick Roche, and you can say, hey, I really like your work. Can I tell you why your scale sucks? And then you can talk to them about whatever you want to talk about. And they're really good. There's no snooty turning your nose up at anybody. There is just welcome and hugs and like, yeah, tell us about, whatever it is you want to talk about. And they're really patient and really kind.
So you're telling me if I go and tell them all, if I start the conversation with, let me tell you why you're wrong, I'm going to be met with kindness and love and joy. And I suspect I might get a drink thrown at me. But if I get a drink thrown at me by someone famous, that could be pretty cool.
No. They'll never throw that because the drinks are too expensive in the bar.
So pricey, yeah. They'll ask for a tap water, and that's when you have to run. It's really good to hear that you'd come back. It's absolutely fantastic to see you. I was dreading you'd be like, no, this is too much. I can't do this. I need to go home, Ralph. Then just sort of heading out as soon as you can. But it was awesome, and thank you so much, Matthew, for coming to TFN and for coming to talk to us about it.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that you feel you'd want to share, or any advice that you'd give first timers going for a day?
First time I was going for a day. Pick a good travel companion. As I said, Ralph was an absolute delight. So I having quickly felt a bit overwhelmed in the hall, I did go and have a little wander off, and there's a lot of space to do that. There's a lot of areas to kind of go and be a bit quieter. But it is very much a kind of, throwing yourself into it isn't nearly as frightening as that would be with a lot of other things in life. I know myself. I know the kind of things that overwhelm me. And on paper, TFN is absolutely one of those things that should have left me a little bit of a gibbering wreck. But there's something really, really comforting and safe about the environment of knowing that a lot of these people that are in the room with you would be rendered a similar gibbering wreck by similar experiences. But this is a space for you guys. This is a space where you're completely safe.
Yeah.
The costumes were cool. I don't know as that's something I would. It's not something I'm going to engage in immediately, but maybe one day. Who knows? Just because I thought it was pretty funky.
Are you going to cosplay?
I have once been to a convention dressed as Optimus Prime before.
We learned so much about you.
But I would say it is a place where if you've ever thought, it would be cool to take the plunge on one of these, it's one of the better ones to do it.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you very much, Matthew. Really appreciate you taking time out to talk to us about that. And I know that you've got a busy schedule, but I really do appreciate you taking your time out.
Love making time for these. Thank you very much, guys. Again, thank you all. I loved seeing you all at the convention, and thank you for looking after me. I will hopefully see all you guys again soon, and I will hopefully be back for the pod in future as well.
Amazing.
Woo. Thank you very much, Matthew.
You guys. Bye then.
As astute listeners might have noticed, we did actually lose Ralph at some point during that. But we're going to say a big thank you to Ralph as well. A, for being the fantastic travelling companion, and B, for taking time out on a very busy day to speak to us. So thank you very much. So, guys, I feel like I've gone through it all again. I feel like I've gone all the way through TFN again, sitting there chatting to you lot. Speculation, TFN 2027. Now, we bailed because we had a long way to go. So we actually went before the closing ceremony, but we were hearing about it on the group chats and the messaging boards and things like that. And the TFN logo transformed into a very 2007 Bayverse logo with what I've done playing over the top of it.
Yeah, Linkin Park blasting out through the crowd.
20th anniversary of the movie. What do we think we're going to see next year at TFN? Because we're definitely going to be there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can't see us getting too many of the headline actors.
I don't think we want any of the headline actors.
Come on, let's get Shia LaBeouf in.
Come on, can you imagine him on stage telling you to just do it?
Could you imagine him getting caught in the bar?
Oh my god!
By just a mob of British Transformers fans.
But no, it'd be great to get some behind the scenes. Perhaps if we can get some, the designers behind it, or something to do with the toy line, would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be cool to see. God, I'd love to hear that challenge. How they attacked that. The transformations do not translate to plastic. How did they approach that? Exactly. Mark Ryan, was he Ironhide? I think he was Ironhide. Mark Ryan is an English voice actor. Goes back way back, so we could see somebody like that here for certain. If we, if they can wangle it.
That'd be superb.
But they haven't given a date for 2027.
Nope. Or a location.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. How are you guys feeling about that?
I mean, I think the overall vibe seems to be that it needs to kind of grow. So whether that is occupying more space in the Hilton, or whatever plan B might be, there's a sense that they've kind of, as it is right now, they've kind of almost hit a limit. And it is growing every single year. So the question is, how will they do this? How will that affect the dealer hall? Are they going to have to end up sort of splitting the trailer hall in two? And then there's always the discussion of, well, making sure that, you've got the forge and making sure that they're not deprived of the kind of the footfall that, the kind of the energy that the trader hall currently has.
Because I think
they're all together.
They did used to have the forge in a separate room.
And nobody went.
Yeah.
Yeah, people skipped them. I think that solution is relatively simple. You put Toy Fu in one room and In Demand in the other.
Yes. I've heard that as well.
And then you generate that footfall between the two rooms.
Yeah, I think so. And that and that would split it up nicely.
Arrowfire was speaking on his YouTube channel today and caught that earlier today, and he said that one of the issues is if you take another convention room, you take a convention away from the hotel, which means that you have to convince the Hilton that you will fill rooms. You will get people in their accommodation. And so TFNation has to convince the Hilton that they will be able to do that. Now, I do know that at the moment they're oversubscribed. I know that people were changing rooms like between Friday and Saturday because they could only book like a small room on Friday and then a twin or double room on the Saturday and Sunday. So they were actually having to change rooms between nights to maintain that. So there is kind of an oversubscription almost. Yeah. But TFNation has to say, we can definitely get those rooms booked for you, because if the rooms are empty but the convention is full, that's no good for the Hilton. I mean, obviously, lowering the prices dramatically would solve that issue, but who are we to say about that? I mean,
but just as a counterpoint, we were the only convention in the Hilton that year. Obviously, we were sharing the hotel with the Quilters.
Yeah.
But the Quilters weren't having their convention at the hotel. They were having it at the NEC.
Oh, I didn't know that. I assumed they were in the other convention hall, just being quiet.
Yeah, no, because we didn't.
Yeah, same. I figured it was like I figured it was like the salsas.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Okay. No. Well, with the salsa dancers, you knew they were there. Same with the Baptist church or whoever we had last year.
Mm-hmm.
We were sharing the corridors with them. I think one of the years they were having to kind of section off sections of corridors so that we could move around each other. None of that this year. And it was advertised on the NEC's boards as well, the quilt fair. So I'm pretty sure it was a NEC convention.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Wow. So in theory, we could get bigger into the rooms as long as there was something else going on nearby that was requiring the Hilton to be booked out.
Yeah.
But that's a big if. That's not something that you can build a business plan on, unfortunately. But that's nothing to do with us. We will just we will be there wherever TFN decides to be, and we will we'll be representing the podcast, and we'll be meeting up with our friends. Any other speculations about next year? Anything you'd like to see?
I think we need either Transformers the movie, the musical, or Starscream and Megatron doing a Punch and Judy show.
Oh my god! I think one of them's more affordable.
We need to bring back more panels that are just dumb fun. We seem to be getting more and more things that are either voice actors or engineers or people who worked on the show, which is all good. It's all interesting stuff.
It's bigger, better, more professional. But you're right.
I miss the days of kind of we had just a fan get to go up and do a panel of some dumb shit.
Okay, so our first fan, David. Hey, David. His hobby is stand-up. I think we could see some nerdy, not entirely Transformers, but we could see a heavy Transformers lean stand-up night as a panel. Oof. That would be amazing. I did briefly speak to Jack Lawrence, and he was saying he'd like to see more stuff about fans. Like, what do fans do? What do we enjoy doing? How do we experience the hobby? Have the cosplayers talk about how they make costumes. Have the musicians talk about how they compose music. Have the artists, again, like the Forge, again, like showing the process. Like podcasters, get like Transformers the show and that other one, the three people, I can't remember the name, sorry, Triple Takeover, yeah, have them come up and talk about how do you engage with the love of the fandom. Do you know what I mean? That would be quite cool.
Yeah, of course, we have no vested interest in them inviting more podcasters to do panels.
Absolutely not, no.
But we're not saying no either.
Well, we've already said that we're going to get Matthew chatting about scale for.
Oh, how cool would that
be? As long as they'll have him on the stage.
Yeah.
But this again is like, even if he had a chunk of a panel, like a segment in a panel where he just said, Transformers TED Talks, like little 10-minute chunks with a PowerPoint where you say, this is what I want to talk about, and you talk about an element that interests you or excites you and that sort of thing.
I would love that, actually. That's great. Little bite-sized chunks. A couple of people there filling up the entire synagogue, and each one of them's got go. You got 10 minutes. What's your thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Keep it light. Keep it breezy. Yeah, that would be fantastic to see. Whatever it is, Fanstromers will be there in some form. We will be there, and we will be
whether you like it or not.
Yeah. So on that brings me on to one of our things that we didn't really talk about this weekend. We had an ongoing element where we were inviting attendees to talk to us about their traumas. Tell you something, Phil and Dan, that really amazed me was being tapped on the shoulder and somebody saying, "Are you Jay off Fans Traumas?" Now, it didn't happen all the time. It didn't even happen often, but it happened at least once, and we got people come up and saying, "Yes, I do listen to you and I really enjoy it. And I'm currently in the middle of this episode. So thank you very much to the people who approached us as we wore our Fans Traumas t-shirts to say that." And we thought we'd drum up a bit more interest. We would reach out to fans and get them to tell us their fans' traumas. They're things that that perhaps they don't enjoy about the fandom, about collecting and that sort of thing. And so we had a prize draw, which was rescued by Hellcat86. Well done, Hellcat, for rescuing our prize draw, because you need prizes for a prize draw, and it was only his generosity that saved the day. So well done them. But yeah,
I said I was sorry.
Look, you had about 4 hours of sleep. Who could blame you?
So we had physical prizes to give out, and we also have another sort of prize where we said we would read out the best traumas that people sent in to us. So shall I start us off?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I'm going to take it from the top of the list. Now, I'm going to say this completely wrong, so I apologise. Kai sent us in every time they release a Wheeljack, my favourite boy, they give him a different gun. And every time it's not even close to his gun and or shoulder cannon, but it's slightly closer. So I buy it. And now I have a lot of Wheeljacks, and I can't explain why to anyone. I feel this one.
Yeah. I feel that this encompasses our whole kind of Hasbro's approach to kind of toy design at the moment. Just that incremental 10% closer, but not quite the perfect one. Just so that you need to get the updated version in about 5 years' time or less.
Yeah. I think Ralph said it on one of our episodes that they're just incrementally moving Optimus closer and closer to his Sunbow model. And he's just fed up of taking 1% steps forward for big money, which is absolutely valid. Look at the toy, look at the show, give us that. Of course, it would help if the show was consistent in any way whatsoever.
Yeah.
So thank you, Kai, for that one. Who wants to take the next one?
I'll take the next one. So cool. Cosmic Conquer. I was dusting my Detolfs and my new Make Toys Seekers decided to fly, brackets, faceplant, to the floor. Starscream's wings snapped off. This was the point I decided to stop collecting Masterpiece. Third party's expensive in the first place, and these are kind of Masterpiece styled ones. It's just tragic when it happens. I can actually relate to this one because when I used to live at home, our whole house had fire doors, and my Transformer shelf was on the wall that the fire door was on. So every time the door kind of slammed shut, if you weren't careful, you'd hear a crash.
Oof.
And so things would suddenly be all over the floor.
My God.
Which I've definitely had a couple of breakages that way. And a couple of breakages from things falling out of windows, both accidentally and due to my younger brother throwing them out of the window.
Oh my God.
Touching on your own traumas there.
Yeah. But I don't get the expensive stuff because a deluxe will bounce largely. But bits go missing and people fall off the shelves all the time. It's one of those things, isn't it? That just like you're the constant worry of like, what is my collection going to be safe when I go back in?
Yeah, we all feel that. I'll grab the next one. This is from the aforementioned Nemesis Springer. He says, left G1 Soundwave at the services on a coach trip in the 90s at the age of 4 where you couldn't get a new one in stores. Cried so much that the coach driver turned around so we could check if it was still there, but it had sadly gone. Couldn't find a new one to replace it for around 10 years. Ouch.
Wow.
Ooh, I feel this one in my core. I think we've all done this. You know, it's like, oh, Mom, Dad, you know, I'll take a little toy out for the day, you know, drive it along all the little fences and, you know, when I'm playing around. And then you come home, it's like, oh, well, where is it? It's gone. Absolutely gone. And I think we've all been there. Really relatable, that one there. It's, sad times.
Nemesis Springer, we feel your pain here. Absolutely. Oh, my God. So speaking of pain, we've got a twofer from Rotorstorm. He's got physical and mental traumas here. TFNation 2019. I went to the dealer room and spent £600 in 30 minutes, which, let me tell you guys, is easily done. Like I could do that.
Yeah, that first few minutes in the dealer room, where you're picking up stuff, and then you look at your bank account and see how much you've actually spent. And it's like, that's the point where you dial it. Like, I think wasn't too bad this year, but it was still kind of probably 90 odd quid in the first 5-10 minutes.
It's so easy to kind of get swept up in it. You've been in this queue, the anticipation has built, the doors open, you rush in there, everyone's grabbing stuff, and you're kind of like, oh my God, like, where do I rush to first? What's the thing? And then you see the thing, and it's like, the urge to spend is it's immense. So
and
I feel that.
It can take you by surprise as well. Like, you're suddenly like, oh my God, how much have I? Yeah, you have to you suddenly realise what you've done too late. Yeah. Roadstorm says, I take cash budgets now to prevent that kind of surprise.
Which is a fantastic idea.
It is. I swear by it every year.
Yeah, not everybody takes card, but I think pretty much everybody takes cash.
Yeah, I take card, but I have a dedicated savings account for like robots and fun money, as it were. So that's an account I can drain without feeling guilty because it's topped up by me selling robots or doing odd jobs or whatever. Yeah,
and Rotorstorm's other trauma is physical. He has actual scars from customizing and not being careful. The most interesting was attempting to remove a pin, and the screwdriver he's using slipped and went through his thumb like a kebab. He now owns several pin punches and happily has not injured himself in the last 5 years. So
I'd
still
really
time.
Felt that one.
Yeah.
Years of doing like Warhammer and Gundam, and it's a miracle my fingerprints still match to the ones I had when I was 14. Just the amount of kind of cuts that have gone through them over the years. But I've done the same thing Sam's done, using a pin vise, a tiny drill to clear stuff out. I think I was just clearing a tube of glue out. We've just gone straight through it, straight into the thumb that was holding it.
Yeah.
Just sorry, while we're on the subject of getting injured by your toys, I assume we've all been bitten by Transformers.
Yeah. Yeah, I've
broken a nail or pinched a finger.
The Volcanicus, that's Power Rangers colours, has actually drawn blood. because of the plastic flashing on it that wasn't properly trimmed.
Oh, fantastic.
And it literally sliced like a centimetre long thing out my thumb. And yeah.
Remember, these are toys for kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, have fun with that.
That's right. Kids heal quickly.
Who wanted the last one?
Yeah, this is more like a kind of I'd say kind of like an honourable mention. This is from a friend of the pod, Plastic Crack. Lovely, who I refer to as Other Phil, because otherwise it'd be weird. You'll think I'm talking in third person. He simply puts losing G1 toy fists, and this one, I don't know. Maybe this is a Phil thing because I have a very similar trauma. Basically, when I was a kid, I was fortunate enough to get the I don't think it was the original release, but I think it was one of the reissues of G1 Optimus Prime. And as was kind of standard, when you're a kid, your parents get your toys, if you've stopped believing in Santa by that point, and they've got to keep them somewhere in the run-up to Christmas itself. And I knew where the presents were hid, and it was a cupboard kind of like under the stairs, right at the back, like on the high shelf where kids aren't supposed to be able to reach. Obviously I was quite I was a determined kid, and I just wanted to. I couldn't wait till Christmas, so I'd go in that cupboard, climb all the way up to the summit, get Optimus down, discreetly cut through the sellotape, and then pull him out. As beautiful, play with him, for a little bit, and then put him back again, and then seal him up, and then back on there, and then the next day probably do the same thing. And at some point, when I'd been doing this, I lost his fists. They must have fallen out of the box and into the void of that cupboard somewhere. So when Christmas rolled around, Optimus Prime he's beautiful underneath the Christmas tree, all wrapped up. And now I need to unwrap him and put on my biggest smiley face because I'm so happy to have this toy, but I can't admit the fact that the hands are missing because I cocked up and I couldn't wait for it. So
you could have convinced them they were missing in the box and got them to get it returned.
Don't encourage his deviousness. He's already sneaking presents early.
I think Phil, you would never have had this problem if you'd have just believed in Father Christmas like a good little boy.
Yeah, I think did young Phil learn his lesson about Christmas presents that year?
This Phil did, yeah, and he never did it again.
And Phil's heart grew 3 sizes that day.
Yeah, medically also, that's not good, right?
Yeah, exactly. Also, Phil was very happy to get Missing Link Optimus Prime, and look, the fists fold out of him. There's no chance of losing them ever again. Joy.
Well, thank you very much to everybody who sent in their fan trauma, and we really appreciate it. We'd love to hear more of these as well, so if you've got something similar, send it in, and who knows, we might be able to squeeze it in and read it out on the podcast at some point. But I think that about wraps it up for TF Nation. We have talked for far too long on this, but I could talk for another hour, I could talk for another week. So yeah, we would just like to end the podcast with a big shout out. Now, unlike some podcasts and celebrity YouTubers and such like, we don't charge you for the opportunity to have your name shouted out. All you have to do is interact with us and make our TFN a positive and wonderful experience. And that's what the following people have done for us. So, without further ado, so you want me to read this list of meat bags who made your TFN better? Very well. 4'30", Abby Bulmer, Andy Ride, Andy Turnbull, Andy Gold, Anna, Arrowfire, Venomous Prime, Billy, Blue Beetle, Brick, Bumblebee's Cos, excellent choice of costume, Captain Ogilvy, Jess, Carl, Chris McFeely, I Know Him, Chromatroid, Claudevel, Colour Horde, Commander Star Squeam, Cosmic Conquer, Dave Wallace, Decepticreeps, Deskbot, Quick Shots, Dooku, Driveway, better be a good driveway, Erin, Freddy, G2, Gallas, Gav Spence, Guzzy Hero, a motorbike, 2 wheels, Hallies, Harvey, Hate Wanks, Attorney at Law, Hellcat 86, Imperator or Sterner Stuff, Iron Bro, Jack Lawrence, Jake, Joseph, Jostles, Kai, Cat Salamander, Kettle Laugh, Krisha, thank you for the arts, Lucan, Luke, Matt and Natasha, Nem, Nemesis Springer, Nick, Nix, Paddletron, Paul Farrelly, Pete, Plastic Crack, Priminator, Primus75, Primus, oh, so many of you think you're gods, Q Prime, Raziel, Rich and Mick, Rotorstorm, Ryan, Sanovici Prime, Silence of the Llamas, Sky Buttram, Spider Father, Star Saber Fan, thank you for coming all the way from Australia, Storm Toy Photography, Stu Warp, we found you eventually, Stuart Webb, Tane Carey, Tanzimus, Tory, Tux, Twin Shot, Tyler Fox, UK Bets, Virtual Amy, Virtual Dave, I think they're all virtual and made up, Void, Wadapan, Wild Wheels Hat, very stylish, and Zaron Primus. Good grief, is this all you can muster?
Well done, mate. Well done.
I'm so glad Darren Norris could be on the podcast with us today.
And he didn't charge us.
Yeah, what a beautiful
Drifted
man.
in on his way back to California. Absolutely amazing. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Wow. Thank you so much, everybody on that list and everybody else who we forgot to add to the list because we're incompetent and we missed you because you made our TFN this year absolutely incredible. So from Fans Traumas, thank you so much. And I think that's all for us now. So all that remains is to say take care and see you at the next one. Goodbye.
Good night.
Bye. You would never have had this problem if you'd have just believed in Fanta.
Yeah.
I mixed up. I said Fanta Christmas there. I meant Father Christmas. If you believed in Father Christmas like a good little boy.
I mean, now I'm picturing Fanta Christmas. I mean, Father Christmas is basically
Father
Coca-Cola,
Christmas is
so
Coke
Fanta Christmas
so...
is the same thing, but orange.
Fire Guts Father Christmas.
Fire Guts Father Christmas.